So we've come into this room just off the main entrance, which is really surprising. This double height drum room, and it's really cool. Yeah, you just talk us through it. It's so interesting.
Yeah, I mean, in the previous incarnation of the studio, we had the downstairs, which wasn't used that much, and I was looking for ways to connect that with when I did the transformation. And basically, you know, one of the guys at the studio people, Chris Smout, I think was inspired by John Bonham recording in stairwells and things like that, had said, well, wouldn't it be great to have a double height ceiling? So I said, well, that's double height room, which, you know, I said, well, that sounds pretty cool. So we came up with a few ideas for where we could put it in the studio, and I sort of suggested this side, and the guys came around and they had a look and thought, you know, size-wise we could do it, and acoustically it was viable. So that was the idea, and then really, I don't know if it was me or Chris probably came up with the idea, well, wouldn't it be great if you could change the size at the height of the room? So we spoke to some people about building this retractable ceiling, which comes down all the way to just above here. So we can change the acoustic properties of the room very easily. Yeah. And, you know, it's really effective, and you know, it gives you lots of scopes for different kind of sounds for drum sounds, and you know, you can go from a very roomy sound and to quite tight and dead. Well, not dead, I would say, but you know, much tighter sound very quickly, and you can do that as you're tracking a song, and you're saying, well, actually, this song needs to be a bit more like this. Yeah. You don't need to move all the kit and all the mics into another room and try something different and all that kind of stuff. It's just like push of a button, which
brilliant.
It's a bit kind of James Bond or something like that. Well,
it's a talking point as well, isn't it? Because it's great to get people relaxed, and if it takes them off the idea that they've got to perform, and it's like, oh, let's just change the room, and they can get into it a bit more.
And if it's not working out with the drummer, we just pull it all the way down to the floor and crush them. Yeah, and then they're gone. You know, it brings a whole new meaning to the term drum crush, doesn't it? Really?
Definitely, yeah. And it's, I mean, I'm just noticing this is going to be a sort of recurring thing around the facility. Yeah. Because you've done a ground up build, a ground up rebuild, you've been able to come in and basically put cabling in everywhere you want. No space has gone unleft.
It was, I mean, there was a slight delay with the building work because there was a problem with the roof, and we had to change all the roof and literally put in a new truss and everything, really. So, you know, I spent a lot of days walking around thinking, well, you know, you start to look at every nook and cranny and thinking, well, you know, how are we going to use this space, and you know, and the guys are sort of saying to me, well, do you want me to put a tile line in here before we plaster it, because it's done then, you know, and you're thinking, so I was thinking kind of from a future-proof kind of way of thinking of what can we do, what are the options we have, and also just for the sheer fun of it, really, you know, like, why don't we put a tile line there, you know? And as you'll see, there's literally a tile line everywhere, as you'll probably see if we go into the next room, which is actually the bathroom / echo chamber, which is a nice tiled room, which also has a tile line. So,
well, the other thing also that I'll draw attention to, like Mike mentioned it earlier, was the attention to lighting. It's like it's really, really important when you walk into a room that it makes you feel comfortable, like your reception area, and you've put real attention to lighting and colours, and the whole place just feels pulled together from that point of view, and it's just got such a nice, relaxed vibe about it.
That's what you want, you know. I mean, you want bands to come and, you know, be happy and make the best work they can do, and you want them to be inspired, and you know, maybe some studios don't do that, you know, they can't do that, and it's you know, it's just, I guess I was looking at all these classic studios down the years in the 70s and stuff like that, and some of the sort of existing ones in America and things like that, really inspired by that, and you know, the woodwork and the brickwork and that kind of relaxed, almost homely kind of vibe. But a key thing was also that, you know, it's a functional studio. You know, you can do anything wherever you want, and the rooms sound good acoustically, you know, that they're set up well. So you've got the best of both worlds. You know, it's sort of like, you know, everyone sort of almost dreams of being able to do it in their own house. And I sort of feel like this place is a house. I mean, my kids actually think I live here, you know. So
well, this is, and the thing is, I mean, let's go and let's have another look, because if this was just the only room you had, this would be impressive. But I think what you've accomplished here is quite amazing. I'll let you open the door for Mike, who doesn't like to be mentioned on camera.
Thank you.
But Mike Banks, record production, the man behind the camera. He's going to be really quiet. He's giggling. There he is, wheezing more like. So this is the club.
Yeah, we call this the club because it's a different kind of vibe in here. It's almost like a posh rehearsal room, but it's effectively it's another live room with different properties. We've got the wall panels which we can change for different. You know, we can go from wood back to fabric, so you can have a more deader or a more live sound. One great thing about this room, with having another kit set up, you've got another kit ready for a different kind of sound. But also with bands, you know, what we've found is that, you know, it's like you'll be working on a track, and halfway through it, you know, the band just kind of almost need to get back in the room and play together to work something out.
Absolutely.
So you can literally just walk in here, plug into an amp, go through the PA, and you can work it out like that for half an hour. And sometimes that can save you 3 or 4 hours of tracking something when you know people can't quite communicate with each other, and like you can when you stood face to face. So that's really helpful. But also, like I say, it's just another good room. It's another good space.
Well, I think that's what goes back again to the entranceway, which is through the window there. You walk in, and it's a place where people can come together and not feel like they're on top of each other. And you've just nailed it. About bands have got to work as a band. They've got to be able to work stuff out. You've got to have a room you can send them to work on lyrics or
I mean, parts. And in this day and age, I guess, you know, some bands might want to take an element of the mix and work on something on a laptop downstairs. They can come in down here, you know, set up their own little setup down here. So you've got that option, and because obviously, you know, the room is soundproofed and stuff. You know, you can you know, you've got that kind of space to do what you want, really.
Brilliant.
So
it's really cool. And this is the first of the times we'll see this wall that
Wonderwall. It's called, Wonderwall.
So interesting.
Yeah, so it's sort of reclaimed timber into these sort of blocks, which has nice sort of absorption and diffusion, really. Yeah. So that's. It's really cool, you know.
And you were saying earlier, you've got this projector and the projection screen, so you can come down and do some of your video stuff that you do.
Yeah, exactly. You know, and whatever you want, really. And
very cool. And we're still on the ground floor.
Yes,
we did go past the toilet. We mentioned the toilet, so we now got to have a look at it. I did flush.
So you've got to see the sign, I think.
Oh, yeah.
Because it's a dual purpose. So it's a bathroom.
I did flush.
It's a bathroom and echo chamber.
And again, beautiful attention to detail and tie lines.
Yeah.
Just down here. Which is the way it should be.
So, you know, it's great. We've done some finger snaps in there recently. We recorded, did a vocal in there recently as well. And it's just the fun, isn't it? You know, why not try something in a bathroom, you know, bring an amp down, you know, and it's just gets you out of that traditional recording space. But, you know, it's still set up just as good as anywhere else, really. Yeah. So
that's very cool.
So it's a nice touch. Okay.
Awesome. And again, little instruments hanging around.
Yeah. my collection.
Just all inspirational, isn't it? You know, it's brilliant. Back into the kitchen, and I got lost. So yeah, where are we?
So heading upstairs now. We've got a mic room there, which I thought was OCD, but apparently it's not.
No, that's not OCD. Look, the pliers aren't quite at 45 degrees.
Right.
And you haven't done a good job on that duct tape.
Sorry. Yeah.
But great, again, really important.
Yeah.
Is that tie lined?
It isn't. It isn't. There is. The storeroom is. The storeroom.
That's all right.
Yeah. Sacrifice. But we do have a tie line here on the stairs.
Awesome.
Which is pretty cool. Which you've also got a line of sight into the drum room here. So if you wanted to set a vocalist up here, wants to see the drummer, you know, you've got that kind of connection and communication.
And one of the things that's quite important here is that every time you add a couple of windows in, you're adding hundreds of pounds to the build cost.
Yeah.
But it's so important to think of the musicians.
Yeah.
Being able to see each other, it's so important.
And you know, it's like it's the light and the space.
Yeah.
You know, you're in here for long days,
Yeah.
and you know, it's mentally quite intensive,
Yeah.
and you know, you can get cabin fever,
Yeah.
and I think the more light, personally, the better.
Yeah.
And, you know, so yeah, there's something I thought about a lot, really.
Yeah.
You know,
Well, it's because you're a musician, you've been in that situation.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's great.
That's the thing.
Brilliant. Okay.
Pretty...
Just door after door.
Yeah. It's got another cool view down on the drum room. So this is the magic button.
Well, that's proper industrial. Yeah, I love that.
So...
It needs one of those things over the top as well. You know, the Bond villain safety thing. I do not think a key is enough. Bond.
I should have thought of that.
There's time, yeah.
Yeah, there is. Yeah. It's the kind of thing I will do as well.
I think you should.
You see what I'm doing with the rest of the place.
Yeah, absolutely.
So here we go. This is how we change the room.
So having shown us the lift going up and down, we now come to really the main floor of the studio where the control room is and the other live room. So we've got some amp rooms which are extremely useful because obviously amps can be cranked up, mic'd up, and by the looks of it, 2 amp booths as a starting point. Then of course, as you've shown us before, more tie lines.
More tie lines is the second amp booth.
And assume, does all of this just come as part of, if you come here and work, this is all available to you?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Which is a fantastic resource because, you know, bands can come in and they've saved all their money to work here.
Yeah.
And I've only got a couple of really cheap, maybe badly set up things, and it's like, actually, this is the important stuff as well.
Yeah, there's a full back line, and there's options, you know, there's 2 drum kits, you know, there's all kinds of amps, all kinds of guitars, you know, so, you know, but obviously, you know, I don't try and push any, if any people are comfortable with stuff, you know, you just kind of go with that. Yeah. But yeah, you know, there's just options, and the thing is, you know, it's sort of a place to come and play and experiment in it, really.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so if someone just sees that guitar and they go, oh, that was a fucking cool guitar, and want to pick it up and play it, then great, you know. And if you never know, you get something out of that, and that's part of being a musician, isn't it?
Well, my friend always says you can never have enough guitars, and if you get one song out of the guitar, it was worth buying.
Exactly.
It is that inspirational ride.
It's true. So so that's all good. We've got the 2-inch tape machine. Doesn't get much use, but it's here. So, you know.
Are those the channels that don't work? Yeah. It's the international language for don't use them.
Yeah, we'll get them fixed.
Oh, of course.
Yeah.
No, it's funny, isn't it? That's one of the pitfalls of analog, by the way, children. They're great. Again, useful thing to have.
Yeah.
And great use of a little space to house it in.
Exactly,
In the control room.
No, definitely not. Oh, this is the vocal booth,
which is
predictably quite dead.
Yeah.
There's TVs in each room where you can you know, obviously see people in all the other rooms, you know, so you got that connection to the drummer in the drum room or whatever. So you can see into the control room.
Again, that's the lovely thing from here. You move into the vocal position and it's instantly, you've got a view of the control room, which is light. The room, although acoustically sounds controlled, it isn't dead. No. It doesn't feel imposing.
Yeah.
It's quite low, but it doesn't feel it. You've just got that feeling of a lot of space. It's beautiful.
Yeah, I mean, I think on the original plans with the control room, these windows are quite a bit small, but I was like, let's just get them as big as possible. You
Definitely.
Know, like I say, then you don't feel boxed in, you know, and
If I shut that door, actually, I mean, it's a great sounding room. You're not going to pull any nastiness out of a vocal when you have to, you know, compress it or whatever. That's brilliant.
Yeah.
And an interesting choice of the 2 mics as well, which is perfect.
It's funny because, you know, I've just been recording the membranes and you know, some stuff is quite aggressive.
Yeah.
And then doing some quite baritone stuff. So obviously the U47 is great for that. But we just found it. I was pulling out a few mics, and the 441 sounded great.
It's the mic of Stevie Nicks.
Oh, is it?
Yeah,
well,
she always used to use that.
It's good enough for Stevie Nicks.
Absolutely.
You know, it's it worked really well, to be honest. I mean, you just got to watch a little bit.
Yes.
Sibilance and things like that. You know,
it's pretty proximity effect.
Exactly. Yeah,
it's great.
But you get a cool tone out of it. You just have to do a little bit of editing afterwards. You know, but.
It's great. Yeah. And you got hearback system, which obviously is really important, giving artists the best possible mix for their performances.
I try and split everything up and let them sort themselves out as much as possible, really.
Awesome. Brilliant. Right, I'm Crush Mike in the corner there. See you later. It's going to stop doing this with me soon. Another room. I'm losing count. Oh, beautiful. So a massive amount of use of the Wonderwall.
Wonderwall. Yeah. So again, totally different kind of feel. It's kind of like a little cabin in some ways, you know. But it's got a kind of nice intimate vibe, you know, the lighting and everything, and
it's the natural material thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
You sort of come out of the stonework outside, and you come into this, and it all just fits. But you've got this nice use of colour, and the vibe's great. I mean, I was researching studios a few weeks ago, and I came across this place, and it instantly struck me from the photos. What an interesting set of rooms.
Yeah,
brilliant.
Yeah, I'm glad you like it.
And a very thick roof. Yeah. Now that's soundproofing, everyone. Yeah. The thickness of that wall, ceiling. Yeah. That's brilliant. And it sounds great. It's a lot of different angles. And I don't know, it's probably a little bit smaller than the drum room downstairs in terms of cubic capacity, but not far off, just a completely different choice.
Yeah, I mean, I've recorded a couple of choirs in here. We've had 15 people in, so that's been
brilliant.
A bit of a challenge, but it's worked, you know. But I love recording guitars in here. And you know, especially just getting an ambient mic a little bit further off and things like that. It just got a real nice sound, you know. We've got these sort of boundary mics as well, so we can stick stuff in the ceiling. And we've got those in obviously in the drum room and the club downstairs as well. So it's a nice touch.
It's really cool.
Yeah.
And a nice use of this angle to, you know, bring this angle in here makes the control room splay out.
Yeah, and again, this window is going to be a lot smaller, but I insist on getting it a lot bigger, and because, you know, so then you got the line of sight, and you know, you could have a drummer in here, you could have the band in there, and they can see each other, they can sort of, you know, vibe off each other, all that kind of stuff.
Brilliant.
So yeah, you know, I'm really happy with it, how it's worked, and I think when you sort of stand in here, you get the whole. The sort of light bounces from the control room into here, and you get a you know, that sense of space, which is really important.
It's awesome. The control room then.
Ta-da!
Which you'll probably pick up on the mics is now just a completely different sound, very control room like. Yep. Not dead, just a nice neutral space, and what a lovely sized room. You've come at this being a musician and composer, so this is kind of your dream control room for you.
Absolutely, and I mean, you want a bit of size, but also, you know, I'm in here on my own a fair bit, you know, so it's nice to have it a bit kind of cozy, and you got all your instruments at hand and all that kind of stuff. So for me, it feels like the perfect size. And you know, I've had bands in, you get 5-6 people. We had a choir in 10-15 people, and to be honest with you, it's not felt cramped, you know, whatsoever. So you know, I'm really happy with it size wise, and you know, I wouldn't want to be in a cavernous room, and it's like I say, it feels perfect for what I do, really, you know. So I'm really happy with it, and just, you know, because you spend all your time on a computer and stuff like that, just to be able to look out and there's life. You see the cars going past, but you can't hear them, and you see the centre of the village, and occasionally I'll see a friend walk past and, flick me the V's or whatever, So.
And the school kids with the eggs.
Yeah, school kids throwing eggs,
It's brilliant.
Little shit. So anyway.
But the nice thing as well, I mean, Mike and I, on the way up here today, we visited a place and instantly both went side-facing control room, our favourite type, because the view into the live room should be as expansive as possible, and the speakers and monitors have got in the way over the years, and side facing is just so cool because you can be sort of engrossed in the speakers and then you can just look over and just get that moving away. I think too many people spend too much time focused right in on what's going on there and don't spend enough time getting back, and in a room like this it's you want to take it in.
I absolutely love it. It's great,
And you got some choice pieces of.
Yeah.
This is kind of like most London studios would have been equipped back in the heyday. A couple of choice bits of each type, not going over the top, but just finding stuff that works really, really well, that might entice people to want to come and. Track drums. The desk itself is great, and you got 12 channels of UA preamps.
Yeah, I do, and Neves, and I've got API preamps. So you can go in a lot of different ways depending on your taste, really. Obviously SSL as well. We've got some of the Chandler stuff. Just in many ways, I was just trying to, have that kind of flexibility. If you want to have a certain kind of rock band that maybe want to go this kind of way, you can go that way. I don't know. Even kind of folky stuff and whatever. It doesn't matter. There's an option there. And likewise in the box, there's plenty of options in the box. So you can go in a more digital kind of direction if you want to. I was looking for it to be some kind of I like the word timeless, modern, but
yes.
Effectively.
There's nothing that's dating it, definitely. And you've got full patching, but what I like is the fact you've gone for EDAC patching for access to your tape machine, your direct outs, group outs, etc. So you can patch a tape machine in really easily, and then you've got all your mic patching and various tie lines on XLRs, which is it's brilliant because that's the kind of thing that doesn't move around a lot.
Yeah.
So a patch bay, they could get a bit crusty if you don't use them. Whereas this is, again, maybe a way more expensive way of doing it, but absolutely the pro way.
Oh, it's just fantastic. Yeah. It just makes life so much easier, and I love it. Tom Cunningham, who did it, he's like an absolute genius with stuff like this, and.
Well, we've got to say, I mean, you've mentioned studio people a couple of times. I think this is one of their nicest rooms. I mean, they're really, really lovely. I've seen a few. They've all been good, but this has got the character to it that's really shown what they can do. It's really nice. Yeah. Really lovely. Awesome. That should be the intro.
Stick an SM57 on it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, that'll be all right.
Get it crunched up. Yeah, decapitator on it.